You're tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest live on 1150 KKNW. We provide our listeners with information from business professionals to bring solutions to your daily life and local charities to provide you with the opportunity to give back to your community as well. And today we are here talking with Cheryl Sesnon. She is the director of Jubilee Women's Center, a safe place in Seattle where women transitioning out of homelessness can live, learn, and heal. Prior to coming to Jubilee, Cheryl served as the executive director at Fair Start and Washington Cash and taught at Seattle University as a leader, consultant, and trainer. Cheryl has dedicated her 23-year nonprofit career to helping people find pathways out of hopelessness, and into lives of possibility and fulfillment. Anita Wilkins is the marketing and outreach manager at Jubilee Women's Center and takes great pleasure in connecting with the community and sharing the stories of Jubilee. So welcome, guys.
Welcome to the show.
Oh, we're so glad to have you and hear all about what you guys are doing over there at Jubilee.
Thanks. Yeah, so can you just kind of tell us a little bit about it, a little overview to start so we understand?
Absolutely. Jubilee is a place where women who are homeless come when they're ready to really put their lives back together and create a new future or next step for themselves. So we have a lot of different services. Kind of one of the big things that we offer is housing, and we have 3 locations. We have 2 in Capitol Hill and 1 in the U District, and altogether we have 43 rooms between the 3 houses.
Okay.
And women can come and get a lot of different services that wrap around them. So we take a pretty holistic approach with somebody. When they first come in, we take a look at, we do an assessment and take a look at about 10 different areas of their lives and see what do they need to work on, where are they already strong, where do they want some help to strengthen some areas. And in that assessment, we take that and really make a plan with them for their next steps as they're at Jubilee and into the future.
Wow, that's really amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about, what's the inspiration behind Jubilee and how it got started?
Yeah, we're really proud of our roots. We were started by 3 of the Sisters of St. Joseph's of Peace. Oh. And when I think of that group of sisters, they're the ones who are very focused on social justice. They want to make sure that things are done in a way that serves the poor and people who are the most needy. Mm-hmm. And so they saw women sleeping on the streets, and they said, this can't happen. They found a location. It was actually a convent. Oh. And they converted it into housing for women. And at the time, the first 6 months or so, they did women and children. Mm-hmm. And they figured out pretty quickly that that didn't work well with the space to have children there. And so they went to single women only. And this was almost 35 years ago. So in the mid-'90s, we became kind of separated from the official legal structure of the church and the sisters, and we're a standalone nonprofit now. But we still have sisters on the board and are very proud of our relationship with them. And we came from some pretty great roots.
Wow, that's awesome. So you've been around for a long time then. Mm-hmm. Is that 35 years? Is that when it first was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. Because there's so many different opportunities out there. There's so many different nonprofits and people helping people, and some of them aren't standing the test of time, so to speak. It's hard to get funding and things. So probably going to get off track. But speaking of funding, how are you guys funded? Is it through donation or?
As you mentioned, my history, I've worked with a lot of different nonprofits, and Jubilee has the most solid foundation of any nonprofit I've ever worked with. 80% of their funding comes from individuals.
Wow.
And so there's just thousands of people out there who write a check every month or every year and think of the women at Jubilee, and they send that check off to us, or they go online and they make that donation. And we get 20% or so from grants. We have no government funding at all in our organization. But to have that many people who are supporting our organization individually is mind-boggling. It's like a dream come true for an executive director, right? Because then if the political climate changes or funding shifts around in the government or something like that, we're not hit with it like some other organizations have been and can be.
Yeah.
Wow. So can you tell us, how does Jubilee differ from like an emergency shelter?
Right. Well, emergency shelters are critically important.
Okay.
It's a place where somebody who's on the street can go and be safe for the evening. And
So it's short term?
Very short term, and that is, we can't do without that. That's so important. Jubilee is a place where people, women can come and live for years as they rebuild their lives and get their life back together. So on average, we have women right now staying about 16 months in the Jubilee program, and they can stay even longer than that if they need to. And during that time, they're building skills, they're taking classes, they're working with case management, they're figuring out what's next for them. But I'd say even more important than that is their healing. So every single woman who comes into Jubilee has been through some kind of major trauma when they walk in the door, and they're at a place in their life where probably the lowest place they've ever been in their life. And being able to move out of that doesn't happen in a week or 30 days or 90 days or even a year sometimes. It takes a long time to heal. If you're coming out of domestic violence relationship, I've seen research that says it takes about 20 months before you feel like yourself again if you've been in a traumatic domestic violence relationship. So it just takes time, and we're able to give people that time to heal and really get themselves back again, get their confidence back and remember who they are before all that happened to them.
Oh, it's incredible.
So are the women coming to you of their own accord? Do you have some kind of outreach that helps get them in, or how does that work?
Well, we always have wait lists, so we don't.
You do?
We're not.
Yeah,
we're not needing to go out and really do a lot of outreach because there's always women who are waiting to get into Jubilee when there's turnover. But we get referrals from an information referral system in the state of Washington called 211, and then we get referrals from Harborview Hospital or Community Mental Health or other housing organizations where they see somebody who is in need will refer over to us. And then, of course, word of mouth. We've been around for a long time, and word of mouth is a great way. So people in shelters know about us, and they'll tell each other. And
so is that what they're doing when they're on that waiting list? Are they just in shelters and hoping that they can get a spot at Jubilee House?
Well, everybody's different.
Okay.
But, yeah, a lot of women maybe sleeping in their cars.
Oh, okay.
There's a pretty significant percentage of women who sleep in their cars, who live in emergency shelters, who maybe are couch surfing, which is just going from friend to friend, as staying as long as they'll tolerate them, and then they have to move on to the next friend and stay on their couch. But some kind of an unstable position that is, not safe, not secure.
Right. So you mentioned that it's a holistic program. Can you describe in a little bit more detail, like how that all works?
Sure. We've designed this model that looks at three key areas. The first part of it really looks at the areas that we call barriers. And those may be things like physical issues that a woman's dealing with, mental health issues that she's dealing with, addictions, legal problems, maybe even some soft skills, communication, if they haven't really had good experience with knowing how to interact in a way that lets them get and keep a job. So those are the barrier issues, and we do an assessment on those and see where can we work with the woman to really connect her with the right resources or provide the right resources and training for them in Jubilee. The next piece that we look at is really stability, and that is how are they going to get an income? Do they need to go back to school? Do they need to go to job training? How can we make sure that they have a secure source of income when they leave Jubilee? And along with that is financial training. We do a lot of money management training, and we're just starting a really exciting program that's a match savings program. So if a woman saves money during her time at Jubilee, we can match it at the end so that she doubles her money and she can actually pay first and last month's rent, or she can get a car so that she can get to work, or some of those things that take a bigger bump to get to the next level. So our match savings program will help her with that.
Wow, that's so cool.
That is. That's
I know.
awesome.
We're really excited about it.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I really think that's amazing. Yeah. So, I mean, you've already told us so many reasons why you guys are unique there. But what other services are available for low-income women who are not residents at Jubilee?
Sure. Yeah, we have very intense services for our residents, but we also open up our doors for other low-income women in the community. We teach a lot of classes throughout the year. Last year, we taught about 50 different classes. And we open our doors to other low-income women to come in and take those classes. And it might be, again, money management. It might be computer skills.
Oh.
It might be, we teach a course that we created called Living in Community, which is really about conflict resolution and setting boundaries and being able to communicate well with others. We just have a huge variety of classes that we offer to people. We also have a really cool thing, our free clothing boutique.
Oh.
So we have over 1,000 women a year who come in and use the service. And they'll come in and be able to access seasonal clothing. And they leave with nice shoes, a handbag, jewelry, whatever they want. And we even have jeans and pajamas and gently used bras and, all of what women need, right. But they can come and quarterly get new wardrobes for themselves. And it brings a lot of dignity to a woman who's homeless if she can put on a nice outfit and go out and feel like she looks like everybody else, like she's looking good and fitting in.
Right.
And just the amount of just self-confidence and pride and dignity that adds is remarkable. Yeah. And we get our donations from people who just clean out their closets and they drop their clothing by Jubilee and donate it. And we, all day long, our doorbell's ringing with different people who are bringing different things to us.
Oh, really?
So
That's awesome.
we only take adult women clothing, but we get a lot of it in, and we recycle it out to women who need it.
That's awesome.
So great.
Sarah, maybe you probably got a lot of stuff you can.
I'm like, okay, time to clean out the closet.
We were just talking about her wardrobe this morning, so I'm sure she's got a few dozen things she could
time to clean.
I know this is like when we have the charities on, this is the neatest thing that I love to talk about. And so I'm hoping you can tell us like something about the women that you're serving and some of the stories about the women. We love to hear the success stories.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of success stories. One that comes to mind pretty quickly is a couple of months ago, I went to a graduation from law school of one of our women.
Oh my!
So
goodness.
she came here as she came here under an asylee program from the Gambia, and she had come here as somebody who was disabled and needed a surgery, and she got her surgery, which actually amputated her leg. So she went through all this while she was at Jubilee, numerous surgeries and she had already gone to law school, but she couldn't get a job in her own country because of her disability. And she'd go to interview after interview after interview, but there's no accommodations there. And so people kept saying, how can you do your job if you've got this disability? So she came here, she had the surgeries, she went back to school. While she was at Jubilee, she went to University of Washington. And I went to her graduation a couple months ago and saw her graduate with her law degree. And she's committed now to go back to her home country and change things for children who have disabilities so that they can have access to schools and they can have access to workplaces.
Wow.
She's a remarkable woman. And to see her do that kind of transformation at Jubilee and know what she's going to do to her own country and to future children with the growth that she's done is really moving to me.
Yeah,
Changing
that's amazing.
lives.
Yeah,
Changing the world.
lives.
I mean,
Exactly.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So can you guys talk to us a little bit about how people can get involved and give back to Jubilee?
Sure. Anita, you want to?
Sure, absolutely. One of the biggest ways that people can get involved is just taking a little bit of time to get to know us online. That's a great first step. And our URL is jwcenter.org. And you'll get a great overview of who we are there. And then I would encourage folks to click on that Get Involved tab, and you'll see lots of different ways. We encourage folks to come in and volunteer. There's lots of different options for individuals and for groups to get involved. And one real popular way is, as we were talking about the clothing donations, is to maybe do a little clothing drive amongst your friends or colleagues and bring your donations in individually. The in-season consignment quality women's clothing, shoes, and accessories are always in need. The next real popular way to get involved is through preparing a community meal for our residents. In our main site in Capitol Hill, we have 27 women living there, and we provide, usually 3 days a week, a dinner meal for them. So you can, again, pull together about 5 or 6 of your friends, your colleagues, your faith community, whatever, and come on in and we'll get you signed up for an evening. And you can, you bring in the materials for the dinner, you prepare them on site. We have a lovely kind of a commercial grade kitchen.
Oh, cool.
And you can use all of our pots and pans if you need to, and then serve up a meal and enjoy it with the ladies that are living there. So that's another
neat.
that's
That
another
sounds-
great
I love
activity.
I know.
We also encourage folks to come to our events. We have 2 fundraisers each year, and we have one coming up October 25th. Our theme this year is called The Power of Possibility. And really
it.
what we're trying to do is introduce, it's an event that serves a couple of purposes. It's a wonderful way to connect all of our great supporters that have been with us from year to year, and also to introduce people who are new to Jubilee to the great stories that the women have, and the excitement around supporting the organization. So that happens October 25th at the Sheraton Seattle, and there's more information online as well at jwcenter.org. And then there's a spring fundraiser. That's also another fun one. That's an evening dinner and auction in Seattle, and that'll again be something more in the March timeframe. Other ways to get involved are to just check out, like I said, check out the jwcenter.org, get involved tab, and see what looks good to you, and then go ahead and contact us at volunteer@jwcenter.org.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll definitely have that information on our website.
Yep, we will. We will. So thank you guys so much for coming in, coming on the show.
Thank you.
Yes.
So good to hear about everything at Jubilee. When we come back from commercial, we're going to have the Riley Johnson Team Market Update, and we're going to be discussing millennial homeowners and how it may be the right time to sell. Stay tuned.